You are a total fraud in your own life. Everything you've built, every belief you hold, and every goal you're chasing is a scripted performance designed to hide the fact that you have no idea who you actually are. We often walk through life convinced that we are in the driver's seat, steering our own destiny with clear, conscious intent. But if you stop for even a moment of honest introspection, you will realize that in most cases, you aren't the one driving at all. You are merely following a built-in navigation system that operates far beyond your conscious awareness. You perceive only the display screen, completely unaware of the complex software and hardware running behind the scenes. If we refuse to study this navigation system, to understand how it works, where it is programmed to take us, and how to manually override it when it steers us toward danger, we risk drifting aimlessly through our lives. We end up somewhere uninteresting at best, or truly disastrous at worst. The 20th century Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung is perhaps one of the greatest and most capable minds to ever attempt this task, to explore the human psyche from the inside and conceptualize a complete understanding of this internal navigation system from the top down. Jung was born in 1875 in Kesswil, Switzerland, to a struggling, disillusioned pastor, Paul Jung, and a deeply eccentric, spirit-seeing mother, Emily Jung. As a child, he was profoundly introverted and isolated, spending much of his time in solitary play, projecting his inner world onto his surroundings, and obsessively analyzing the adults around him. In his early years, he despised school and performed so poorly it bordered on the neurotic. He would even faint just to escape the classroom. Yet, as he matured, and after his father expressed stern, heartbreaking concern over his son's perceived incompetence, Jung made a dramatic shift. He began to engage intensely with his education, teaching himself philosophy, history, and religious texts with a hunger that defied his earlier struggles. After deciding that the family tradition of a religious vocation was not his path, he pursued medicine at the University of Basel. By 1902, armed with his medical degree from the University of Zurich, he began working at a prestigious psychiatric hospital under the guidance of the well-connected Eugen Bleuler. A few years later, he left the hospital to start his own private practice. As his success grew, he inevitably crossed paths with the most famous, groundbreaking, and controversial figure of the age, Sigmund Freud. Their first meeting in 1907 turned into a 13-hour conversation that never once lost its intensity. This quickly blossomed into a powerful friendship and professional partnership. They traveled the world together, lectured at universities, analyzed each other's dreams, and debated the deepest aspects of psychological theory. However, the dynamic was always strained. Freud was significantly older and had already reached legendary status, creating a relationship that felt more like a father and son or a teacher and a student than true peers. As Jung's own career flourished and his theories began to challenge Freud's core tenets, the relationship soured. Their disagreements over the nature of the mind, Jung's inclination toward a mystical, expansive view versus Freud's rigid, scientific reductionism, eventually led to an irreparable split in 1913. The aftermath of this breakup triggered a profound midlife psychological breakdown for Jung, lasting from 1913 until 1918. During these years, he spent his time in deep introspection, conducting radical psychological experiments on himself and descending into the deepest recesses of his own unconscious. This period of isolation and turbulence was the crucible that solidified his unique vision of the mind and launched his career as an independent theorist. Put simply, the primary objective of Jung's life work was to understand the nature of the psyche and then develop theories and methods to help integrate all its disparate parts into a singular, unified state of wholeness. In this context, the psyche refers to the entire personality of an individual, every thought, feeling, behavior, and urge. The continuous effort to integrate this psyche through self-realization and the journey toward becoming a fully realized, authentic human being was, for Jung, the fundamental goal of existence. Man's task, he wrote, is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. For Jung, there is a constant, dynamic interplay between the unconscious and conscious realms of the psyche, which combine to form our total personality. Most of this, however, develops and exists in the unconscious, the vast, shadowy realm beneath our immediate control. Because of this, a massive portion of who we really are, what we are capable of, and the underlying motivations for our daily actions remains hidden from us. To move toward an authentic state of being, the individual must attempt to make this hidden portion conscious by tapping into it and integrating it into their awareness. Jung called this process individuation. To grasp this, you must understand Jung's structural model of the psyche, which he divided into three dimensions: consciousness, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Consciousness is what we usually think of as ourselves, the realm where you consciously identify with your own name, history, and current situation. At the core of this is the ego, which sits at the center of your conscious awareness. The ego acts as the storyteller, creating the narrative of your life to maintain a sense of continuity. The ego expresses itself in the world through the persona, the mask or outward appearance we curate to fit into society. But this persona is often hollow and disjointed from the individual's true nature, as it displays only the character the ego thinks is appropriate for the situation, rather than what is authentic to the person. To maintain this suitable appearance and protect self-esteem, the ego constantly filters your experiences, pushing anything it deems inappropriate or threatening into the unconscious. One of Jung's most profound insights was separating the unconscious into two distinct structures. The personal unconscious aligns with what others like Freud proposed. It is the storage locker for all the repressed, undesirable, or forgotten experiences that are just beneath the surface of your awareness. These memories still influence your behavior, but you aren't looking at them. The collective unconscious, however, was Jung's revolutionary addition. He argued that it contains universal elements inherited through the total sum of human history, much like how biological evolution functions. As humanity slowly evolved toward civilization, each generation built upon the psychological foundations of the last. This created an unbroken chain of inherited psychological predispositions, symbols, and memories. Jung proved this was empirically real by finding recurring motifs and themes in the dreams of his psychiatric patients that perfectly mirrored myths, art, and literature from cultures that had never encountered one another. He called these shared structures archetypes. They form the skeleton of human personality, predisposing us to think and feel in specific ways. Jung also identified the shadow, all the repressed, denied, and unacceptable content the ego refuses to admit. Within this, he identified the anima and animus, representing the suppressed feminine qualities in men and masculine qualities in women. All these structures work in a constant, active circulation to form the self, the authentic totality of your entire being. The self is who you actually are. It is what you truly desire and what you are truly capable of. Getting your ego and persona as close to this core as possible is the goal of individuation. Whether through therapy, deep introspection, or a lifelong commitment to personal growth, it is the individual's task to strive toward this state of wholeness. But this requires radical self-honesty. Every time you examine a thought or feeling, you have to be willing to accept the uncomfortable reality that you are not always the person you hope to be. Each time you face these truths, you are taking a step down the stairwell into your own basement. As you confront the darker elements hidden there, you must work to integrate your shadow, your potential for fault, greed, or selfishness, instead of rushing back up the stairs in denial. Your shadow does not disappear just because you ignore it. It is like the shadow cast by your own body. You cannot outrun it. As Jung famously noted, good does not become better by being exaggerated, but worse, and a small evil becomes a big one through being disregarded and repressed. The shadow is an undeniable part of human nature, and as Jung reminded us, it is only at night that no shadows exist. Admitting that you are sick is the first act of healing. Recognizing your own capacity for the things you judge in others is not a defeat. It is the ultimate act of liberation. While this sounds simple, the path of individuation is perhaps the most difficult endeavor a human can undertake. It is the lifelong commitment to admit that you are not as good, as kind, or as consistent as you had hoped, and to confront the parts of yourself your mind has spent a lifetime trying to hide. However, this work is essential for a fulfilled life. Ultimately, Jung's work provides us with the tools to fix the bugs in our internal navigation system. It gives us the controls, allowing us to input our own destination coordinates based on who we truly are, rather than who we were told to be. If this exploration of the deep mind resonates with you, you are exactly who a patient mind is for. We are here for the people ready to move beyond simple motivation and into the actual, difficult work of true human awakening. If you found value in this deep dive into Jung's legacy, please subscribe and hit the like button. It helps this message reach others who are quietly searching for the same truths. And leave a comment below. What part of your own navigation system are you finally ready to face and take control of? The silence and clarity you have been looking for are waiting in the parts of yourself you have been too afraid to look at. Thank you so much for being here with a patient mind, and I will see you in the next video.